replacements. We saw her about a month ago when the East Germans and the U.S. competed in a dual meet competition here on Wide World of Sports. That sequence there, the back handspring to the Sisson leap, is something that's new. The judges are requiring the gymnast to do a mixed series of acrobatic moves and dance moves. She did it very nicely.
She's 17.
And a clean double full dismount. Certainly not the most difficult dismount being done, but well done.
And one of those gymnasts that weighs under 100 pounds at 99. Now we move over to Kim Kelly of the United States and the North American team. And she's just 5 feet tall, 99 pounds.
Kim opens with a half turn to a kip. Those are giant swings. Half turn, a little trouble there. Oh, she grabbed that front flip right on the end of her fingertips. Another giant swing to a reverse hecht, her second release move, and you'll notice she hit her right heel, just as Kim Zmeskal had been doing on her release move, and she finished with a clean tuck double back. There will be a deduction for, of course, hitting the heel on the bar.
Oh, Kim Kelly with her coach Bill Strauss there.
That was a great job.
Began competing in gymnastics in '79, and we look again.
Most of the top gymnasts are using 2 different release moves. She used 2 in her routine and then finished with a very clean tuck double back. Unfortunately, 1 step on the landing will be 1/10 of a point deduction.
Vilgas, by the way, scored 9.65 on the beam as we keep you updated on the scores here, and Kim Kelly awaiting her score. It's always tough to be a last-minute replacement. Some athletes, Bart, can adapt better than others. There was another athlete considered for the team, Brandy Johnson, but her situation was a little bit different, and consequently was not able to come here. We'll give you, of course, Kim's score a little bit later. And we mentioned that Brandy Johnson had a situation where possibly she wasn't ready to compete at this time, whereas Kim Kelly was able to. And we're going to tell you that Kim Kelly scored a 9.60, but right now let's go back to New York and Frank Gifford.
Thank you, Roger. And of course, Brandy and Kim Zmeskal are probably the 2 premier gymnasts, women gymnasts that we have here in the United States. And Brandy is not there, but she's going to join us right now from our WFTV affiliate in Orlando. Brandy, of course, a member of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. And Brandy, you've had a whole series of injuries. When do you think you'll be back to 100% and able to go again?
Well, I'm working back at 100% right now, and I have a competition coming up in 3 weeks, and I was on my downtime right now. And next week I start doing routines again.
Well, you finished 3rd in the U.S. Championships overall a couple of weeks ago. Were you happy with that, considering the problems?
I was not disappointed in getting 3rd place. I was disappointed because I made a mistake, which cost me the all-around. But being in this sport as long as I have, I realized you can't be on top every time. But my disappointment was because I did make a mistake.
Brandy is such a high-pressure activity, such a high-pressure sport. Back in April, you announced basically a retirement. You were gone for 10 days and you came back. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was a little bit burned out after all the injuries and illnesses I went through. I just didn't know if I had it in me to keep going. But I took about a week and a half off, and that's all it took, and I really missed the gym, so I got back in there and I worked really hard.
Well, are you thinking about Barcelona in 1992? Now, you say you were burned out at the age of 17. You'll be 19 then. Will you be able to hang in there and compete at the age of 19? Now, I know it sounds funny to a lot of people, but that's getting up there, isn't it, for a gymnast?
I think so, but Shishinova won the Olympics when she was 19, so I don't think an age factor should be there.
Okay, Brandy, we thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you well and a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Brandy Johnson, along with Kim Zmeskal, they are missing the competition because of injuries. Okay, and we'll be back with more women's gymnastics very shortly. Stay with us. We'll have Coca-Cola's Scoop the Hoop coming up shortly, but right now, let's go back out to Salt Lake City and rejoin Roger Twibell for more women's gymnastics.
Thank you very much, Frank. Andrea Drissler is getting set now to compete from West Germany, 16 years of age. Bart Conner, though, has a guest alongside.
Certainly one of the most complicated aspects of the sport of gymnastics is scoring. Now we're going to try something completely different today. Joining us is Sharon Weber, the technical director of this competition. Now the scoring system is highly complicated. It's a hieroglyphic-like shorthand system that they use to write down the routines and then score from there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to ask Sharon to judge the routine as Andrea does it, and we're going to eavesdrop and see how a score is computed.
Moving now to uneven bars from the Federal Republic of Germany, Andrea Drissler.
Second in the 1990 German Championships, Andrea Drissler.
So far we have a fairly easy routine and a hit on the bar. Slight breaks in elbows and knees throughout the routine. And the dismount was low with legs apart.
Okay, so with that in mind, show us how you compute a
she
score.
would have her full difficulty. If she, on the hit on the bar, she almost lost the bonus points, but she did not at this point. So she has full bonus. It starts from a 10, and the deductions are all minor deductions except for the hit on the bar, and it's 1/10, 2, 3, 4, 6/10 off, so I would have a 9.4.
Okay, we're waiting for the score from the judges on the floor. Any of you interested in trying to learn a scoring system, just pick up one of these and try it at home. You'll notice right here when she does the front flip, she's in good position, very high, but a little close to the bar, and you notice she clips her left foot on the bar. Of course, that will be the major deduction, as Sharon, you had mentioned.
And Bart, 9.525, so just a slight discrepancy with Sharon's at 9.4.
Just slightly, and in this range, we're allowed a 2/10 variation in scores between the two middle scores. They only use the two middle scores instead of all four anyway.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
All right, thanks to Sharon Weber, who dropped by for that interesting look at how scoring is done. Medal standings right now, and Europe with 2 gold, North America with 1. Europe also with 2 bronze, and North America with the silver. And the final results on the uneven bars, Kut from the Soviet Union, and then Woolsey for the United States. Now, let's go back to New York and Frank Gifford.
And to Salt Lake City, Roger Pybel is there with Bart Conner. More women's gymnastics.
And thank you very much, Frank. You take a look at the women's all-around standings after 2 events. Julia Kut of Europe and Sandy Woolsey of the North American team, both at 19.75. And Bart, this was Sandy on the beam a few moments ago.
Sandy has had a terrific day. Her scores have been 9.9, 9.85. She was very smooth on the beam, and she got by this dismount, and this was something she's had trouble with in the past. She got hurt earlier this year, but she made it nicely today and scored a 9.75 in that routine.
And we move from Sandy, who is tied for first place, and we've talked about this young lady, Leonette Gonzalez from Cuba, just 11 years old.
And she has been a real treat to watch all week in the training sessions. It's very exciting. Only 11 years old, and she dismounts with a tuck double back easily.
And a nice round of applause. She's such a tiny thing, just 4 feet 7, some 70 pounds. And that's Leonette Gonzalez of Cuba. Stormy Eaton is the coach of Sandy Woolsey. That's at the Desert Devils Club in Tempe, Arizona, and they have a very special relationship.
Next on balance beam from Federal Republic of Germany.
Sandy currently tied for first place after 2 events in the all-around competition.
Go, Liz, go, and again, and again, and again, and again. Ow!
For some athletes, practice is monotonous and boring, but not for Sandy Woolsey. It almost seems like she's having fun.
It doesn't make it so much a work. It's not like a job, and because no one wants to work, and it makes it more fun. So gymnastics for me is more or less a game, and to do the best job I can. And it's not something because I have to go there, it's because I want to.
I encourage people to be themselves and have fun doing this, because this is hard work. When you see all the things that gymnasts like Sandy accomplishes in one given day, how do you keep them coming back 365 days for 9 or 10 years in a row? So we've had to make a unique environment. All right, Sandy, I'm feeling groovy. We force my habits on the kids. They have to listen to Randy Travis at least once a day.
Ugh, I hate country.
What kind of attitude does Coach Stormy Eaton have? Well, when he finished the grueling Ironman triathlon, he did back handsprings. This is a coach who believes in do what I say, but also do what I do.
Gymnastics is and made a better person. You learn responsibility and you learn to be independent, to take it upon yourself to accomplish goals. And so, and you learn, you have real good friends as you walk away. They're just not someone while you're in the gym. You get real good friends with.
I think I'm really a good coach to let you come and do this. Say it. Say it.
So we move from that scene at Lake Saguaro outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Sandy, or Coach Stormy Eaton, obviously a good relationship for those two people, and the results so far have been good. We'll be back to Salt Lake City with more gymnastics in a moment.
Okay.
And we're at the Huntsman Center on the campus of the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. Larissa Loewen of Canada and the North American team set for her floor exercise. By the way, Leonette Gonzalez, 9.675 on her routine. Dragnet. This is the city.
Strong opening run, a front through to a tuck double back. Nicely done. That's worth pointing out at this point is that some of those mini mites that we talked about earlier, their explosive acrobatics is very impressive, but in most cases their level of maturity in their dance element is minimal. Larissa has good-looking style and dance, elegant presentation. She doesn't have the big tricks like the little ones do.
Very strong too.
But her look is clean and more dramatic. Double turns. Once again, the judges are requiring a higher level of dance difficulty in all the routines. Larissa shows strong dance elements. Here's her last tumbling. Tuck double back, and she makes it.
That's Larissa Loewen of Canada. By the way, the North American squad competing one athlete short because Leah Homa suffered an ankle injury during warm-ups, the other young lady from Canada who was here.
We've talked about the importance of originality in the routines. Not only do the gymnasts have to show terrific acrobatics and strong dance elements, but this is a very good-looking pass. It's unusual. She does a back with a double twist and immediately punches to a straddle position. Nice originality points she'll get back from the judges for that.
Debbie Vidmar, the coach of Larissa Loewen, and now Oksana Chusovitina. By the way, Loewen with a score of 9.80, so good score for Larissa Loewen.
Larissa Loewen scored 9.80 on floor exercise.
On the beam.
Terrific mount, a front on. Let's notice her style. She has quick, precise movements. Notice in that leap series. Typical of the Soviet gymnasts. Very crisp and very aggressive. Back handspring through a layout.
As you can see, terrific leg strength there.
She's very powerful, much like Shushinova and her teammate Lashenova, who was also one of the Olympians in '88. There's an aerial walkover.